Looking for some new art inspired by the national parks? Then be sure to check out our online store, The Gaze Shop.
This season, as we explore the landscapes of Olympic National Park, Mount Rainier National Park, Carlsbad Cavern National Park, and Guadalupe Mountains National Park, we've got some new items and designs coming your way.
Introducing our Olympic National Park and Mount Rainier National Park posters. These 12 by 18 posters make a great addition to any home or office, or a great gift for any lover of the national parks, even if that national parks lover is you.
Whether it's art for your wall or a sticker for your water bottle, you're sure to find something that sparks your love of the outdoors. Visit shop.gazeatthenationalparks.com to bring some of the national parks home with you.
So what did you know about Death Valley prior to visiting there for the first time?
That it was one of the driest, hottest places on Earth and one of the lowest places on Earth.
And I think it is, I think the lowest elevation in the United States.
And I think in North America, maybe.
Yeah.
Even. Yeah.
And that it was very hot.
Yeah, that it would be hot.
Very hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's about it. I just assumed it was going to be very deserty.
Very deserty.
Yeah.
I did imagine like quite a bit of, I don't know, maybe like Sahara kind of like sweeping sand dunes type of thing, like wide, flat desert, similarly to the way that White Sands presents itself. I did imagine some of that for Death Valley.
Okay.
Like it just felt like that kind of barren.
Okay. I felt like it was going to be barren, but not necessarily sandy, because I don't think I remember hearing people who had hiked it before talking about like trudging through sand upon sand.
But let's spoil it for everybody. Was it any of those things?
No, not real. I mean, hot.
I mean, it was very, very hot.
And
it's
very
very
low.
hot, but it is gorgeous.
It was a surprise.
Oh my God.
Sure.
What one of the best parks. Oh, I would go back there in a second.
I think the biggest national park.
Yes.
Which was a mind-boggle to me.
Mind-boggling.
I'm sorry, biggest in the lower 48.
Yeah, in the lower 48.
No one's touched
by
Alaska.
like square mileage or something.
Right. I always thought it was Yellowstone.
It's not.
Swiftly corrected that it's not.
It is not. It is Death Valley, in fact. Very, very, very big.
Yeah.
It is one of the most incredible places we have ever gone to.
Yeah. Dichotomy of landscape.
So much landscape, so many different things that I didn't expect to see there.
Yeah.
You know, like there's mountains, mesas,
craters,
mounds, there's craters,
salt flats.
Yeah. I mean, it just like, and
there is
color
sand.
and there is sand, but that's so totally secondary to everything else that's happening.
Yeah.
It's just like so spectacular. Absolutely worth the visit.
Yes,
for
absolutely.
sure. I would go back there in a second.
Yeah, me too.
Looking for adventure, I want to follow on the trail, or get a little lost and let the wind fill my sails. Get up when the stars still fill the sky, don't wake the sun. There's so much to be done, and the day has just begun. Go where the postcards are real, you can feel, you can open your eyes and open your heart when you gaze at the national parks. At the national parks. At the national parks. Follow you, I'll follow you there.
We would like to acknowledge that while visiting and hiking the land, also known as Death Valley National Park, that we are on the traditional and stolen land of the Kauai Sioux and Western Shoshone people.
All right, everybody, this begins our suite of episodes on Death Valley.
Death Valley is like the Olympic National Park of Season 8.
Yes.
In that we did a lot here.
We did a lot here.
In
We're going
less
to be
time, too.
in Death Valley for a little while.
Yeah.
And in less time. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
motivated.
Yes. We did a lot. We were in Death Valley for a total of
3 full days.
3 full days.
And like a half-ish day.
Half-ish day. 3 full days.
Yeah.
Left the day after that.
Fast and furious.
Fast and furious and hot. And we did a lot while we were there.
Yes, we did.
And so
we sure did.
This episode is all about the trails we did on our way into Death Valley.
Which aren't actually in Death Valley.
No, but they're nearby and they should be seen.
Absolutely.
Which is why we're doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, I'm going to reminisce for a second. Remember when we used to be like, Death Valley became a national park on this day, and it makes them a Scorpio.
That's so... We have... Talk about a brain share.
Oh
I was going to bring that up. I literally was going to bring that up.
I know. And I think we finally were like, are we still doing this bit? This bit is tired. We're not doing that anymore. Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with anything.
No,
so
that was like early days, and we cut it out. We had like an atlas that we were like, let's use this to pump for information at the beginning of every suite.
And it was great. It was a great atlas. But it was the
But we retired her.
We were so young.
At least you were.
You're still young. That's what you're saying. You are. It's true.
As you roll me into the home.
Oh, there it is. There it is. These are the bits and the jokes that you like to make nowadays. Just because there's a 4 in front of your age, right? Which is like
4,000.
You're still a baby. It's fine. And I'm even younger, which means like I'm just basically like...
Because I'm a little baby.
That's right.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I'm a little kitten compared to the little child you are. So that's that.
So this trip was hilarious because we had to change flights like a week out from the trip.
It is
because we were like, hey, where are we flying out of? Oh, Philly. Oh, wait, what time? Oh, we'll never be able to get there on time for that. And
unless it's like spend the night, which we could have spent the night with somebody in Philly, but it was a lot of logistics we didn't want to work out. And Mike had a full-on panic. And it was like, then what we do is we call the airline and we ask really nicely if we can just change the airport.
Which I'd never really done before, but I let Daddy handle that. Because Daddy knows how to do it.
That's right. And it was like, I'm going to teach you how to do this so that you can do it. And what did we do?
We called and were very nice.
That's right. You call, you're so kind and so nice because those people on the phones, they can fix everything.
They can.
Right? They can. And also, like, they work phones every day and deal with, people who are so mean and so loud and so unnecessary. And I get that people are upset because of, travel plans that have been like
changed, canceled, rearranged.
All of those things. My flight's been canceled. And I get it. You're going to miss, the girls.
Twins recital.
Yeah. They're going to play Rachmaninoff. It's going to be beautiful and it's going to be devastating because you were not there. It is so important to be kind generally every time, all the time to everyone, but particularly those who work in customer service.
Right.
But we called and...
Little known fact that I didn't know, if the airline changes your flight time, even if it's by like a minute or two, then you can get a flight change with no additional service fees attached to it.
Now, that depends on the airline,
right?
But that's the policy with the airline we were booked on, who we will not be mentioning because they are not a sponsor. So we called and they were able to change everything, and it ended up working out even better because we were able to get a direct.
Yeah.
So we flew out of Newark to Las Vegas.
A city we haven't been in a very long time. Scored by a rental car agency.
That's right. We did try to get
on
a
our
rental
first national
car
park trip
out of Vegas once, and it did take 3 hours in the middle of the night. And it was because, again, one person was working the desk.
Yep.
There were some very unkind people. We were not those people, but they were very not kind to that person. So the flight to Vegas went fine, and we got picked up by our friends.
Becky and Cynthia,
who this was a trip that involved 2 national parks.
3 for Becky and Cynthia.
3 for Becky and Cynthia, but we started our first night at another MPS site, which was a campground at Lake Mead.
Yep.
So they picked us up. We headed to the campground at Lake Mead, and immediately it was like we got there, we set up everything.
By everything, the tent was already set up for us.
Tent was set up, so we had some inflatable mattresses we needed to get up, and then we had already had dinner like on the way out of the airport, and so made that very simple for ourselves,
right?
So that by the time we got there and got our tent set up,
we could just go to bed, basically.
Go right to bed, which is what we did. The next morning, we woke up and we were heading out of Lake Mead and heading to Death Valley. But this was the morning where we learned a lot about trailers because Becky has a trailer. And so we had to learn all of the ropes when it comes to trailer maintenance.
Right. Basically breaking down the trailer. It's a small camper trailer, essentially. Yeah. So Becky and Cynthia had driven down to basically Grand Canyon, where the trailer was being stored for the winter at a friend's, and gotten it set up at Camp Mead, came to pick us up. We basically were on the ground, Tessie and I, while Cynthia and Becky had the trailer to sleep in.
That's right. So we get everything packed up the next morning into the car, into the trailer, or into the camper, and then we head out. And we don't make it very far because the first place we stop is the Lake Mead Visitor Center.
Right.
Because this glorious view of Lake Mead from right there.
Right.
Now, what did we notice about Lake Mead?
It's very low.
It's very low.
But this is not surprising considering reading the news. It's very low.
It's low, y'all.
Yeah. And I told a story about going to my uncle used to live in Vegas, and we had gone out to visit when I was 16 maybe, and we had gone on a catamaran on the lake because that is lake culture out there, and we got very close to the Hoover Dam, and I remember the guy who was driving the boat, who was a friend of my uncle's, put it in reverse but did it too quickly and the front of the boat took on water. The sheer panic that I had in that moment of my life.
Oh, yeah.
But the water level was not that low then. The water, it's very telling and very sad to see how low the water is here.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
So we take in Lake Mead just from the visitor center. Visitor center wasn't open quite yet, so we just sort of wandered around and saw it from a couple of different angles and then got back in the car and headed off.
Right.
We made a couple of stops along the way. We got some groceries. We did some grocery runs. And then we headed on toward this little tiny town called
Pahrump.
That's it.
I hear it and I know. Pahrump. I know I want to go down. No, I got nothing.
That's right. Mm-hmm. It's also Pahrump-a-pum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that little drummer boy who decided in the middle of the night to play a drum for someone who had just given birth. And I'm sure
they love that.
They love that. We head from there. It's not far from Death Valley from there because Pahrump is kind of the closest town that one could go to for more resources.
Right. In Nevada, because I believe Pahrump is still in Nevada. It's not California at this point.
You dip out of Nevada into California from there.
Yeah.
We head toward the area known as Ash Meadow. And we were recommended to stop here because while it is not part of the MPS, it is part of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. But what you can see here is pup fish.
That's right.
We were told you cannot miss the pup fish. The pup fish are incredible and you have to go.
Right. And they're very rare and they're very tiny.
And they
can only really be found here.
And they're endemic to this area.
Right. There are some in Death Valley, but the area where they are was closed because of flooding from Hurricane Helene that blew through the year prior. That area has not reopened. This was the best place to kind of see pup fish.
And it was not the only place. It was there were a few areas in this one section near Death Valley that pup fish were able to be seen. So we stopped at all of them.
Right.
So the first stop we make is the Ash Meadows National Wildlife Refuge, which is operated by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. We stop there to drop off the camper. We leave the camper there. We get back in the car, and then we drive over to the Point of Rocks area, which is an area you got to take some dirt roads to get to, but it's an area with lots of interpretive signage, some boardwalk trails, and then also some covered areas for tables and picnicking and things like that.
And that's kind of the first thing we did was eat lunch at those covered areas.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because there's also a little further on is an amphitheater that they've built. So they've made it possible for people to really engage with it in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I really like the most about this is that there was a lot of interp signage here, but they also had just tiny details within the walkways and the bridges that you had to walk over where they insignias that were there, or they had carved pillars that were half pillars that had fish and things surrounding them. So they really tried to bring artistry into what was happening with the landscape, but also have that artistry be referential to the wildlife that was there. So I thought this was a really nice touch, because sometimes you can go to a space and it's naturally beautiful like this space was, but it's also clear that there was like aesthetic care on how they were going to curate the space so people could engage with it as well. And I found that to be something you don't get all the time.
Artistically, it was very well done.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. And I just noticed how like informed all of the design was.
Yeah.
So after we ate at the picnic tables, collected our trash and packed it out, and then we headed off on the boardwalks.
Yeah. This is not a very long section of trail. It's a very doable section, and it's paved for the most part.
Yeah.
And or you might have to cross a bridge or two, and they're small. They're doable.
Yeah.
Strollers, I would assume.
Yeah.
ADA compliant as well. So
I would say like definitely portions of it are.
Yeah.
There's interpretive signage talking all about the different trees found in this area, but it isn't long until we get to the first area with some pupfish.
Right.
Okay, pupfish. What are they? Tell us a little bit about them.
They are fish that are found in these desert watering holes. They are incredibly tiny, like
little puppies.
That's not even a great way to describe them.
Oh, it's
puppies
true.
have size. I mean, these are like the size of a bottle cap, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's a section there called King's Pool, and
Right.
it's like the spot where you can see the most of them.
Right.
And when I say like
You
they're
have to look.
often mistaken for like minnows, like they're not minnows. Minnows are like, they have a specific kind of tail or whatever. Like these are
I
not
wish you could
that.
all just see the movement that he made to say specific kind of tail.
Great.
It was a
That's
body
right.
sway.
It was. And so, but they are small little fish that are,
They're dark. A lot of times there was like a blue tint to a lot of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the photos that you can get, I mean,
You got to have a good camera.
gotta have a good camera. The best photos that I got were with DSLR.
Yeah.
You know, like the camera phones didn't do as well with those.
The camera phones. Okay, boomer.
But it's true. The phone cameras
There we go.
didn't do as well with them,
Right.
even though phone cameras are great. But for like tiny little zoom ins.
Yeah.
And these are
And they're
little
fast.
and tiny. I mean, we're talking like smaller than like
Your fingernail size.
yeah. Or like maybe a little bigger than that, but
Yeah.
like that's it.
That's it.
But it is cool to see them.
Yeah, this pool is pretty large, I mean, for a desert pool, and it's very lush all the way around it. But from here, you can kind of follow the boardwalk and see some more of the wetlands that are here, because there is water that's running through this section of Ash Meadow. So there are trees and endemic plants that are propagated and are surviving because of this water source that's here. It's like a spring, essentially.
Yes.
It is a very, very well preserved space, and there is there's a lot to enjoy here. We didn't see too many other animals, but
The only other animals we saw here were some ravens. There were some ravens here, and I did
but
get
they
some
just
photos
follow
of
you.
them.
So
Yeah, that's it.
yeah,
And but we continued on the boardwalk from here. The boardwalk kind of makes a bit of a loop, and we were able to, follow the loop. We got all the way to the amphitheater. We saw that. Got to take some photos of the landscape looking out, taken that side and that view over there. We turned around and headed back to the car, and then made a plan for part 2. The other thing about this section is that it is full of mesquite trees, which means mesquite mistletoe, which if you haven't seen it is very strange looking.
it is.
How would you describe it?
Well, we were pretty befuddled by the fact we're like, is this actually the mistletoe, or is this another plant? Because we just weren't really sure. With the way that things were growing, it was really hard to tell where one plant ended and one plant began, because it almost was like a little bit of plant mimicry.
Yes.
It looked like the color of the mesquite, and then you had the mesquite mistletoe that almost looked like it was newer growth. It was a little confusing, and then we did a little research and found it to be a hemi-symbiotic plant, which means
That's right.
that there is some relationship there, but I think the relationship works better in the favor of the parasitic plant than
Sure.
it does the host.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was very interesting, and we would see a lot more of this. We saw a lot in the Ash Meadows section, but specifically as we were rounding the boardwalk to head back towards the picnic area, we definitely saw a lot of this here. So after walking a little further down the boardwalk, we ended up meeting back up with the original trail, passing the picnic area, and then getting in the car and heading off to our next destination.
And with that, let's take our first break. If you are like us, you know that you cannot get your day started without a good cup of coffee. We have coffee with us when we're camping, when we're hiking. So if you haven't tried AeroPress yet, well, you're in for a treat. AeroPress uses a completely unique brew method. And because of that, you get exceptionally delicious coffee that you can only get with an AeroPress. You can take it wherever you go, and it doesn't break, and it isn't bulky. And it combines the best qualities of a few different types of brewing methods into one compact brewer. There's a little bit of French press, there's a little bit of pour over, there's a little bit of espresso. It makes the best tasting cup of classic coffee you will ever drink. You can take it with you on the road, and you can take it camping with you. So AeroPress is shockingly affordable, less than $50, and we have a great offer for our listeners. If you just go to aeropress.com/gaze, that's AeroPress, AeroPress.com/gaze, and that's GAZE, and use that promo code GAZE to get 20% off your order. It's time to ditch the drive-thru, toss the French press, and say yes to better mornings fueled by better coffee. AeroPress ships to the US and over 60 countries around the world, and we want to thank AeroPress for sponsoring this episode. Hey y'all, it's Dusty and Mike with exciting news.
That's right. It's our episode finder. It's all about making finding our episodes even easier.
Want to find more episodes about hikes in Shenandoah? With over 10 episodes across 2 separate seasons, it would have involved a lot of scrolling and searching.
Now, with our episode finder, you can find all those episodes with a few easy clicks. That way, finding an episode on Yosemite from season 1 is just as easy as finding an episode on Zion, Yellowstone, and Haleakala, all in separate seasons.
With over 275 episodes in 35 different national parks, our episode finder will add ease when finding out more about hikes in these spaces.
But it's not just about hikes by national park. We've categorized our entire library so you can find hikes by state, hikes by terrain, and hikes by difficulty.
And all of our Trail Mix episodes are there too, so you can easily find our science-based episodes, interviews, and more.
Planning a trip to Colorado and want to hear more about our adventures there? Want to grunt it out on some really tricky trails or learn more about glaciers, grasslands, and mountains?
Just click the link in our show notes or on our Instagram bio, and it pops right up. You can also head directly to our website and look for the episode finder at the top of the navigation bar.
Conquer one hike in one national park, one park at a time, with just a few clicks with our episode finder. Happy trails!
All right, so let's play our first game, and that is, we're going to play One Has to Go Camping Edition.
Yeah, so we've camped before, but it's been a minute since we've actually done some national park camping.
That's true.
Yeah, so this is a big camping trip for us.
This was a very big camping trip. We did a lot of camping on this trip. So what are the 3 things that you're going to present? Camping Edition, One Has to Go.
Okay, One Has to Go Camping Edition. I tried to make this thematic.
Okay.
Hand sanitizer, wet wipes, deodorant. Because I feel like these are things that one could use to clean their body.
Yeah.
When you don't have a shower and you're at a primitive campsite, you just might need to. Eliminate odor.
Exactly.
We could also say Febreze in there if you wanted to really.
I am going to say hand sanitizer. And here's why. Because I feel like I can get the wet wipe to do what I needed to do. Because, good Lord, everybody needs deodorant. Like, I don't think that that's okay.
I mean, I didn't really wear much of it in this past hiking trip. You wore
plenty of it, and I never had a problem.
Oh, so there's a problem.
No, I'm saying I don't ever have a problem with you because typically, well, whatever you wear like lasts for a few days. You know what I mean? Like I am replenishing mine every day because I know for me when it goes and it's horrible, it's horrible for everybody. So that is a courtesy I do for others. But yeah, I think I'm going to say hand sanitizer. Okay, great.
I'd probably say the same.
Okay, so One Has to Go Camping Edition, Tent Edition. Okay, One has to go. Stakes to like put the tent in, the rain fly, a pad to sleep on.
I think as long as you're weighting the tent enough, then probably the stakes are going.
Yeah.
Because we had an issue with the rain fly on this last trip and
we did.
That was not fun.
No. We were very grateful for that rainfly.
Mm-hmm. We sure were.
And there's so many uses for that rainfly other than just rain.
Privacy.
Yeah, privacy. Mm-hmm. Also, like moonlight can be brighter than anything.
It can.
Mm-hmm. Because like you can't fight that moonlight. That's right.
You can't.
No. So, okay. And that was One Has to Go Camping Edition. So after we wrapped up at Point of Rocks, we got in the car and headed out. And there was another stop we wanted to make before we headed back to the Meadow National Wildlife Refuge. And that is that we wanted to go to Devil's Hole.
Exactly.
The drive to Devil's Hole is a dirt road, as most of these are over here. When we head to Devil's Hole, we are technically now entering onto NPS area rather than Fish and Wildlife area. Take the couple of turns it takes us to get there. And the reason we're going is because it's also possible to see pup fish here.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
This proved to be a totally different experience than Point of Rocks.
Yeah.
Point of Rocks was a lovely boardwalk to walk out to, very close, get right up close to King's Pool, and you can see the pup fish right there.
Yep.
This was not that at all. We were advised we needed to take binoculars.
Right.
Because of what we discovered when we arrived.
So parking, you have to park down at a gate. From here, it looked like there was, at a time, a road that would take you up, and it's probably a service road that's still used by Fish and Wildlife and NPS folks. But you have to basically trek up to a giant fenced area, which it almost feels like you are entering into a cage as you're up here. It's very interesting in the way that things have developed and why the space is closed off in the way that it is. A lot of that obviously has to do with protecting these pup fish so that people aren't throwing things into the area where the pup fish are. But we walk up to this fenced area. There's some signage here. A lot of, I'm pretty sure the ESA, the Endangered Species Act, was based around pupfish. The pupfish are one of the first species that were recognized under the Endangered Species Act. There's a sign right essentially at the fence as you approach. In 1976, the Supreme Court actually took the additional steps of establishing minimum water levels at Devil's Hole, where we were at, to keep that as a pupfish habitat, prevent against extinction. So water is pumped in if it needs to be. But it's really interesting, considering the state of where things are with the Endangered Species Act right now, to have gone to this space to see it. But when you approach the fence, you see the sign, and then essentially you walk the length of the fence a little bit, and then it almost looks like you're about to cross, like if you've ever crossed a bridge over a highway that's just for biking or pedestrian walkways where there's high fencing on either side. And you essentially go down into this corral and look to the right, and Devil's Hole is, 200 feet below you.
Yeah.
Like easily.
Which is why they say bring the binoculars, because it's like you probably won't see pupfish from this vantage point unless you have some assistance.
Oh, you will not see pupfish.
No, they're little tiny.
However, with that being said, they were doing some sort of study here in Devil's Hole. And there were these, it almost looked like white tile or almost white carpet it was hard to tell even with the binoculars. That was the best way to see the pupfish with the binoculars. But if you knew what you were looking for, then you could actually spot small movement on the white tile. It was much cooler to have a clearer vantage of it with the binoculars, but you could see with the naked eye if you were really staring intently down. Yeah. This is definitely not the same sort of viewing experience that you got at King's Hole, where
Correct.
You could actually, you could touch the water there if you wanted to.
You could.
Not
Don't
that you
do
were
that.
supposed
Don't
to,
do that.
and don't do that, but you could. You were so far up, and you were basically fenced in. There was no way for you to get anywhere near this, and for obvious reasons, for the protection of the pupfish, but also the protection of anyone that would maybe want to try to go down there. It looked at some point like there was a trail, or that there was a service trail for probably scientists that are going to study the pupfish. This was a really, really steep section, so it makes a lot of sense that it was essentially caged off from visitors to get any closer to it.
So there's also a trail right here that kind of runs along the side of a fence that we took afterwards because we thought there might be another vantage point to see the pupfish maybe from the other side. So after we left sort of in caged enclosure area, we headed to the left up the hill, and then we made it to another area that we could kind of see into, but there wasn't much really. It wasn't really illuminated.
Well,
But
it was also closed off, like a mine shaft would be closed off with kind of like a grate over it. There was what looked to be like the back end of whatever cave system, because Devil's Hole also, while there's water in the pool at the base, it's clear that there's like a cave beyond the pool, like the surface level of the pool, like going into the cliff face. So we assume that this was the back end. I could see like what looked to be cave in or like a slide inside, like a rock slide inside of this like vantage point that we were at the top of this hill, which was kind of on the back end of Devil's Hole. But there was no water to be seen. Whether this section actually connected to Devil's Hole or not,
who knows?
Who knows? I think this was sort of just
probably
again,
the
a service
scientists
trail.
know. Yeah,
because it really didn't lead anywhere else. It was just sort of like a little side quest that we could do while we were here.
That's right.
Which was fine.
From here, we decided to make our way back to the car. Cynthia took the exact same way we went.
We took like an offshoot route.
We did. We took an offshoot route. Me and you and Becky went down this, like, it was a well-made desire path, kind of like back to the car area from up here. Because this was not close. Like, this isn't like there was a parking lot for cars. This was like you park along the dirt road and then off across this desert field, up this hill is this caged-in area for these pup fish at Devil's Hole. And so we were making our way back there. And then we did meet up right back at the car to head on to our next location for pup fish.
And with that, let's take our next break.
It's time for Drag Corner, where we bring a drag queen to life every episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage.
Even though we knocked her out of our game before, Hannah Sanitizer.
Hannah Sanitizer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Hannah Sanitizer. Mm-hmm. Who is she? Tell us about her.
She's a clean freak queen. She is, you want your house to be cleaned, like spotless. You have guests coming. You're ready to, entertain. Hannah Sanitizer is going to make an appearance. And not only is it going to be a cleaning experience, it's going to be a performance.
I see. So she's
a niche, like...
So her shows are not like in bars. Her shows are in homes.
It's kind of like a Tupperware or a purse party.
Yeah. Or like when you hire, like a person to clean your home, but instead they clean, but it's also a show.
It is.
So you could bring friends.
You could. You could.
So the space is cleaned, but also you're entertained.
Right. She's going to clean like the couch pit area for you. So you don't have to think about it and you can sit and enjoy watching her do her thing.
Do you have a couch pet?
Don't you?
What is the couch pet area?
Like, like the pit of the couch.
The pit?
The pit.
Are you assuming that they're like that people are privileged enough to have sectionals?
Oh,
so that
there it
is a pit?
Mm-hmm. Look at her bringing this old tired rag out.
Some people may have 2 couches. Mm-hmm. Some of us only have 1.
Oh, okay. Great.
I only have 1. I don't have a sectional.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. But maybe she only services people who can afford sectionals.
Ah, there it is.
Maybe that's
there it is. Mm-hmm. My privilege is just showing everywhere. Bursting out.
So she cleans the couch pit area. What else does she do?
Oh, I mean, she does it all. She does windows, she does floors, she does rugs, she does ceilings. She is singing as she works.
I see. And is she singing yakety yak?
Yep, that's it.
Am I trying to make it work?
Just bringing all of the tropes out.
I do feel like she works hard for the money is probably in there.
I mean, I think it could be like a melody of things, but I think it's like starts with Whistle While You Work, which then like
You mean a medley? Sorry,
a medley.
Oh, okay.
It's Whistle While You Work that then like loops, that like creates like a feedback loop that then turns into like house beats of other things.
Oh, fun.
Because she's a house cleaner. House beats.
See. House beats. House cleaner. I get it. I get it. Mm-hmm. I feel like she probably also, in service of covering more ground, activates the audience to be a part of the show, but that also just means you're cleaning.
Yeah, she's smart.
Oh, I know. So she's not like doing all of the cleaning herself. She's getting the people who invited her here. She's making them activated.
Because it's fun for them.
It's fun.
I do think she has
cleaning fun.
Some outfit changes based off of what she's doing.
So like a kitchen is different than a bathroom.
I feel like if she's doing the windows, she's got like a la Britney Spears in Oops, I Did It Again. Is that when she's in the red bodysuit?
The red catsuit.
The red catsuit.
She is.
But it's like, it's quote unquote clear. It's not like really clear, but it looks like it's that
It's
kind
nude
of
illusion.
It's nude illusion.
Right.
But it's shiny.
Sure.
And so it's like I'm in my window outfit.
Oh,
and then
I
it's
see.
like, you know,
Okay.
chains. When she's like, she does the floors, it's
It
like
could
hardwood
also be fun
outfit.
if like her bathroom outfit is made from recycled
like bathroom rugs and towels.
yes, and
Yeah.
also shower curtains.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. And maybe she's got an outfit for the kitchen that's just made of, you know,
Oven mitts.
it could be oven mitts, but I was also thinking like, you know, like tea towels or whatever that
Yeah.
you have about.
I like it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think she just has cleaning products as her merch.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
so. With her face on
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage.
Hannah sanitizer. After leaving Devil's Hole, we headed back to the Meadow National Wildlife Refuge Center. Becky had already everything here at the visitor center. She was going to work on getting the hitch of the trailer back to the car. Essentially, there's a system of boardwalks behind the visitor center that you are able to work your way through. That's actually pretty expansive. This was probably the biggest section of hiking, quote unquote, that we did during the day here this day.
Yeah, the boardwalks here are about a mile and change in total to do the loop of them. They travel kind of far out and they come back around. The visitor center is entirely in sight the whole time that we were on them. But it's a fairly big network of boardwalks and it's over alkali fields.
Right.
There's some really incredible plant life here that you get pretty close to while on the boardwalk. We head out, we're on foot on the boardwalk. It's still bright, exposed sunlight and everything is pretty exposed here. We get to a juncture pavilion.
That has like a kind of like a
Some
there's a
interpretive
structure
signage.
here
Yeah.
that is shady that you could be underneath. But this is kind of like the spot where you're going to either head to the right or the left and you'll loop back here at the end.
So we head to the left toward the Crystal Springs area. Crystal Springs is the area we were told we might be able to see some pupfish in there.
Right.
We head that way. It isn't long until we arrive at the Crystal Springs pool, and it is pretty massive, and it is so blue.
It is. There's a lot of river grass here that's surrounding it. This feels like Point of Rocks, just like way more expansive. And there's very clearly a lot more water that's running through this section. We're trying to spot pupfish, but this is a much deeper pool and there's a lot more happening here. And we're a little further away, not as far away as Devil's Hole, but not as close as we were when we were at Point of Rocks. But we just take some time here and enjoy this pool from kind of the viewing platform that is set up right off the boardwalk here.
We take a look and we really cannot see any pupfish here at all. We just continue on. As we continue on, we get to, there's another piece of interpretive signage that is talking about the environmental cleanup of green sunfish from the river, which soon we would learn a lot more about. It is an invasive species here, and there were also signs all around about asking, please do not dump your domesticated pet fish into the stream, which is
funny
something
to
I
read.
never thought about people doing. And I'm like, yeah, obviously.
Well, people
don't do
flush
that.
fish down the toilet, so
Yeah, no, I know.
yeah.
I
Why not a
don't love
stream?
that either.
Well, it's nature, right? That's where they're from.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Mhm.
No, it's not.
I mean, it is, but not that
Not like
area.
that.
Yeah.
No.
mhm. As we walk a little further down the boardwalk, we run across a biologist who is working in the stream doing her field work. And we come to discover that her name is Dana, and she has been at Ash Meadow for 2 seasons, and she is working on actually cleaning the river from the green sunfish that we learned about moments before.
So while talking to Dana, we had mentioned, we were like, we thought we saw some pupfish up the stream a little bit. And she said, probably not. You probably saw mosquito fish. They're often confused for pupfish.
Even though they were a little bigger too.
They were a little bigger and darker.
Right.
They were like basically black.
Yeah.
And so that had not been the color of any of the
Pupfish
pupfish
that
we
we
had
had
seen.
Mm-mm.
And she said, sometimes you can see the pupfish up there, but most of the time you can't. And so some people think they're seeing pupfish when they're not.
Right. It's
And
just
that was
mosquito
us for a
fish.
brief moment.
It is. Until we were educated. And isn't it nice to be educated by a scientist on how things work?
Always.
Always. So we end up kind of following Dana along the trail, and she sort of follows us because we're moving slow and stopping at some points, and she's checking nets within the stream here.
We asked her about these nets, and she said it was because she was trying to clean the river from the green sunfish
Right.
that had been wrongfully introduced to this area.
Right. She had done, essentially, they had done DNA scans of the water, which was, again, like fascinating to hear. And they're like, we've done in the last 2 years that I've been here, and we haven't detected any DNA from the green sunfish. So we're pretty sure that
gone.
The river is clear, that the stream is clear, and that
there
they're
were
gone
these
from
little
the area.
barriers that they were putting up that the green sunfish, that other animals could get through, but the green sunfish couldn't.
Right. That was really, interesting to hear just about her project and, what the research was. We'd also noticed as we were walking along the stream, and again, incredibly clear, very, very blue at specific points. We had noticed a cable that was running essentially along the stream, and we asked her about it, and she's like, that's actually part of the research that's measuring the temperature of the spring, because it fluctuates depending on the source and as it's flowing out. So again, another kind of little bit of scientific research that I don't think her study was specifically on, but it definitely probably related to the green sunfish in the area as well.
By this time, we are pretty much at the end of the boardwalk. We make our way back to the junction where we were the first time. We'd come around to the other side. And from there, we were wrapping up our time here on this boardwalk. We were talking a lot about Grease, the musical, at this moment.
Because I think we just talked about how bad of a musical it is.
Yeah.
Like to be produced in a high school.
Yeah. No.
Or like a middle school.
No.
It's not very appropriate.
That's right.
And somehow the conversation went on to you dancing and
Cynthia's background in dance.
Oh,
and our
Cynthia
friend
has
Cynthia
a major
has
in
a
dance.
huge background in dance. And so she was like, oh, well, do you remember the ballet moves? And I was like, yes, I do. I took years of ballet. And by years, I mean, in college, I took plenty of ballet.
Yeah.
I wasn't like one of those young people that did ballet a lot. I wish I were.
You weren't the Billy Elliot of your area.
I know. But I have these little shoes that I wear that are kind of like knockoff Toms.
Yeah.
That were then in this moment labeled my ballet flats. They were my ballet flats.
They were your
because
flats.
I guess they allowed me to point my foot.
They did. And so you did a pretty good job. You were tested and you passed that test.
I knew she would.
There was the one move that was the trot of the horse that she gave you that I
didn't know.
You didn't know the French.
But the rest of them I did know.
You did. So as we round back after our, ballet conversation takes us back to the visitor center, Becky is sitting outside and waiting for us. This is a great visitor center to get merch at. We got some really fun things here, and it's also all goes to benefit Ash Meadow.
And the Wildlife Refuge.
And the Wildlife Refuge.
I had actually forgotten to bring a water bottle, a reusable one, so I got one here.
Yep, and you still have it today. It's got your little pup fish on it.
It's got a little pup fish on it.
Yeah, and so definitely support Ash Meadow, and definitely go if Death Valley is on your list of things to do. This was a great stopping point for us. From here, we hook the trailer back up. We head towards Furnace Creek Visitor Center,
which is the one of the main visitor centers of Death Valley. Takes us a while to drive in, but we finally get there.
We pass some points of interest along the way that Becky points out as like spots we'll stop at or go to as we're in the park.
And we're preparing for 3 nights of camping here in Death Valley. And when we got to the visitor center, we saw the temperature sign. And what did the temperature sign read?
103.
Typically, we rate all of our trails and we put them on our scale of difficulty called the Karen Stone scale.
That's right. Named for an early queen.
That's right. And we found that the word difficult was relative depending on which park you were in. So this is our attempt at bringing everything sort of a little closer together. But since all of these trails in this episode were short boardwalk trails, we're not even putting them on the Karen Stone. This is like they're zeros.
They're 0 to 1s. Yeah, they're accessible for the most part.
Devil's Hole can be a little bit of a climb, and by climb I mean like going up a hill, but it's not a big deal.
But the other trails at the visitor center and also at Point of Rocks, easy to navigate, paved or boardwalked, not that difficult to do. Ones really, and short, very short.
But what we will say is, of the 3 places we went to, the easiest and kind of best place to see pupfish would be King's Pool at Point of Rocks. Go there. That one gets the award for the 3 spots we went to.
Yep.
So now let's end this episode with some Jeopardy-style trivia. All right, Mike, why don't I get us started today?
Great.
Okay, so my Jeopardy category is inspired by the name Ash Meadow.
Okay.
Ash is also a word that is often used to describe blonde hair.
Okay.
So there's also a lot of other words that are used to describe blonde hair.
Great.
So this category is called shades of blonde.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just going to have to name the different shades of blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
For 100, the shade of light blonde is named for a precious metal that is often confused with silver, but is much finer, brighter, and more expensive.
What's platinum?
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
For 200, this medium blonde is named for something you might mix into tea or something Winnie the Pooh is okay with getting stuck in an entrance door in order to get more of.
What's honey blonde?
That's right, honey blonde. We can add her to the list for sure. I think she's already on there. For 300, often on the spectrum to red hair, this type of blonde is named for a red berry that you might find in a parfait.
What is strawberry blonde?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
For 400, this is a medium shade of blonde that is named after a type of yellow bloom or the bag of seeds one might eat at a baseball game.
What is sunflower blonde?
That's right. And for 500, this type of blonde is sometimes called dirty blonde, but this southern colloquialism names the shade after the liquid one might find in the sink after washing, rinsing, and drying.
What's dishwater blonde?
That is correct.
Oh, I never heard that before.
There you go.
Dishwater blonde. Look at that, a sweep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I was inspired by the name Ash as well, but the fact that Ash...
Pokemon.
You got it, girl.
Oh, no. I cannot identify Pokemons.
That's
I hope
okay.
This is not that
it's a
category.
name-based game, so it is. You're going to have to guess.
God.
And I've tried to
Okay.
make the clues easy for you to guess those Pokemon.
Here we go.
So Ash Ketchum is the title character of the Pokemon series.
His last name is Ketchum.
Mm-hmm. Gotta catch them all.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's like
I get it.
Ketchum.
I get it. Like ketchup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The other form, the other spelling of ketchup.
Yep. So I'm going to describe a Pokemon. You're going to have to guess its name, but it's all about the name. I'm not describing its abilities necessarily.
Sure.
So, all right, great. For 100, the name of this fairy Pokemon that could hypnotize you to sleep sounds like how you would describe a bowl full of jelly or Santa's belly with how you might describe marshmallows or a down jacket.
Okay, this is literally the only Pokemon I know, which is what is Jigglypuff.
That's right. So the game's going to go like that.
Okay.
Got it?
I got
Great.
it.
You should be okay.
All of the Pokemoners out there are going or yawning at me, and I deserve it.
All right, for 200, the name of this ground-based Pokemon sounds like the former second gentleman's first name with how you might describe the characters of Charlie's Angels, the Powerpuff Girls, or Luke, Han, and Leia.
What is Doug Trio?
That's correct.
Oh
Look
my
at you
God,
go.
I can't believe I got that.
It's the clue writing.
It is. It's me.
It's the nail tech.
It's me.
Okay, great. For 300, the name of this Pokemon describes the action of ignoring someone at or not inviting them to a social gathering with this animal that people run away from in the streets of Pamplona, Spain. If you were to socially ignore someone.
What is Cold Shoulder Bull? What is Ghost Bull? What is...
Or if you were really good in a Tony, in a Broadway show, and you did not get an award nomination.
What is Snub Bull?
That's correct.
Oh, there we go. Okay, great.
Great. Okay, for 400, this ground and rock-based Pokemon's name sounds like a rock filled with crystals that you might find at East Meets West, with another way to commonly refer to a bro that's based around ranch culture.
What is Geodude?
That's correct.
Oh my God, I can't
You
believe
are
I'm getting
killing it.
these. Okay, great.
What is Cold Shoulder Bull?
It's the clue writing. It's just the clue writing. It's just so strong. It's so
me.
good here.
All right, and finally, or for 500, of the original Pokemon you could pick to play, there's 4. This grass-based Pokemon's name sounds like a large or giant open wound.
What is Gash?
So think about that in two parts: large and giant, and then open wound.
What is enormous sore?
You got the second part.
Sore?
Mm-hmm.
What is huge sore?
Something round and giant. You might describe it.
What is orb sore?
If it was like big.
I need you to give us the visual again.
Big.
He like just rubbed his shoulder. Bulbous sore.
There you go. You got it.
Oh my God.
It's the clue writing.
It's the clue writing.
Looking for more episodes like the one you just heard? Then be sure to check out our episode finder for episodes by park, state, hiking difficulty, and terrain, as well as all of our Trail Mix episodes in one helpful place. Click the link in the show notes of this episode, our Instagram bio, or visit our website to make your listening experience even easier.
This has been Gaze at the National Parks, the podcast, and we're here to remind you to hike early and hike often, and that adventure is always out there.
Gaze at the National Parks was created, produced, edited, and hosted by us,
Dustin Ballard
and Michael Ryan.
To see images from this episode, follow our Instagram at Gaze at the National Parks. To contact us, email us at gazeatthenationalparks@gmail.com. And to find out more about the parks visited on this show, visit our website, gazeatthenationalparks.com. That's Gaze, G-A-Z-E.
All original artwork featured on Instagram and on our website is by me, Michael Ryan.
All original music was written and performed by Dave Seaman and Mariella Klinger, with Sean Sklios on guitar. Our music producer is Skylar Fortgang.
We would also like to acknowledge that while recording this episode, that we were on the traditional and stolen lands of the Lenape people, also known as New Jersey.